Okay, so I'm going to be going over photography specific reminder cards. So obviously I'm not a photographer, but for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to pretend that I am. So you'll see here that I have a reminder card, photography, finalize engagement session, and photo submission. So I go ahead and click on that. And what you want to do here is first you want to check Event Planner to see if you have an engagement session already scheduled. If you do not have one scheduled, call an email client to begin scheduling one. That's simple enough. So assuming you already have it scheduled, or if you didn't, that you've called and emailed the client, you can go ahead and check that off. Your next step here is an engagement session has been scheduled as an appointment. So don't check this off until your engagement session is actually an appointment. And you can move that to the holding tank if you need to in the meantime. So once that session is scheduled, you go ahead and check it off. I have emailed info@eventsbycoolcat.com notifying them of the engagement appointment. This is so that they can create it as an event for you guys. So once you've sent that email, you go ahead and check this off. I've actually completed the engagement session with the couple. Again, you can move this to the holding tank if necessary, but once that engagement session is done, you go ahead and check it off. Then you should back up all of your photos to your personal hard drive. Once you've backed up your photos, boom, check it off. Attach screenshot to this card of backed up photos. So, two questions you're probably asking is why and how. So the how, I'll do a short video right after I record this of how to actually take a screenshot on your computer. But the why, honestly, it's just so that we're all on the same page, so that everyone's accountable. If anything were to go wrong in the backup process, then you're covered. You know what I mean? Like if a client were to complain because something happened, we would be able to show them the evidence of this is how great care we took of making sure that your photos were backed up. So it will be very helpful for all of us as a whole. I do realize it's a small inconvenience, so I do apologize for that. But it is pretty quick, honestly, and I'll show you how to do it, and I don't think it'll be that bothersome once you get in the swing of it. So once you've taken a screenshot of the backed up photos, you attach it to this card and you check that off. So then drop off my SD card of photos to the office within within 48 hours. So obviously check this box only once the card is physically in the office's possession. That's important. So once you've dropped off that SD card, go ahead and check it off. Reassign this card to both photography editor and photography team leader. So quick note on team leader, it is replacing the term manager. The reason that we're doing that is really, it's not like a big deal, but we feel that team leader fits the culture and our vision of what we're striving for here. We're all a team, we're all a part of this, and we feel that team leader just has a much more positive connotation and just fits us as an organization much better. So whenever you would have heard the word manager, you will now be hearing the words team leader. So reassign this card to both the photography editor and photography team leader. So what you want to do here is you want to go to Event Planner, figure out who the editor for that event is, and then also assign it to the team leader. So let's say that the editor was, we'll use Jenna for this example, and Hannah is the photography team leader, so you'd also assign her. Okay, boom. So you assign both of them to it. Now the rest of this you don't need to worry about. This is for the editor and the team leader. So what you can do is you can move this card over to holding tank as you wait for the editor and the team leader to finish up the card, and then they'll move it to desired outcome achieved. So you'll see that the next card here, this will probably be about a week before the event, is photography event prep. So you go ahead and click on that. And here are your steps. You want to look through your planning form, you want to look through your timeline, and the reason you want to look through them is because you're about to call your client and you want to make sure that you remember what's going on with the event. So once you've looked through that planning form and looked through the timeline, you go ahead and check those off. Then call your client, say hello, finalize any loose ends. Let's say, for example, there was some planning details that were missed or forgotten. Now's your chance to correct them and go over the timeline with the client. Log this call in DJ Event Planner. So this is really just good customer service. It's another opportunity for you to build that relationship with your client before the event. It's a nice touch. They will definitely appreciate it. And it's a very good opportunity to make sure that there's no planning errors. So once you've called the client and logged it in Event Planner, you check that off. Then you can go ahead and print your forms and place them in a binder or whatever you store your forms in. And again, attach screenshots of printed forms to this Trello card. Same as the last card, same idea. So again, you check that off. Ensure your equipment is ready with fresh batteries and prepared. So whatever you need to do to make sure that your equipment is totally ready, do it and then check this off. Call your second shooter. So confirm location, time, date, and any necessary planning details. So once you've called your assistant or second shooter, you go ahead and check that off. And then reassign this card to photography team leader. So that would be Hannah. Boom. Check that off. And then you're done with this card. This point here is for the team leader to take care of. So again, you can move this on over to the holding tank as you wait for the team leader to complete the card. Now the next card here is photography wedding photo submission. Click on that. So what are your steps? Drop off my SD card of photos to the office within 48 hours. Again, only check this box once the card is physically in the office's possession, and you can move this to holding tank if you need to. You go ahead and drop that off. Back up all my photos to my personal hard drive. Again, very, very important. Boom. Attach a screenshot to this card of the backed up photos. Boom. Reassign this card to photography editor and photography team leader. Again, that would be Hannah as the team leader, and then whoever the editor was, you just attach them to the card. Boom. And then you're done with this card, and you can move it to the holding tank. Again, waiting for the editor and the team leader to finish up the card for you. And finally here you have the photography editing card. So this one's going to take a good amount of time, but it'll really help everything stay organized. So you go ahead and click on this. For the editor, if you are editing the wedding, which you might not always, every single wedding, but if you are, then this card will spawn for you. This is for the photography editor, and obviously you go ahead and do your blog stuff, you do your full edit stuff, and then you're done with the card. This is really just a step-by-step process of what editors do to finish editing the blog in the wedding album. So pretty straightforward, and that is that. Once you have all that checked off, then obviously you'd be able to move it to desired outcome achieved, and you would be good.